My name is Nate Hofmann. I farm outside of Cedar Rapids, Marion. I'm married to my wife, Johanna. We have two sons, Jackson and Miles. Jackson is 5, Miles is 3. I farm with my dad and my brother, and we farm row crops, corn, soybeans, and we have just a handful of cattle.
I'm Kaitlyn Porter. I'm from Franklin County. I am the FFA advisor at West Fork High School in Sheffield, Iowa, and I also raise purebred seed stock cattle and have corn and soybean acres.
Hi, I'm James Hepp. I'm a first-generation farmer from Calhoun County, Rockwell City, Iowa. I farm here along with my wife, Paige, and our 2 boys. Karsten, he's 2.5, and August is a month old at this time. We grow corn and soybeans, and we dabble in growing rye for cover crop seed. I am a first-generation farmer. My grandpa Ron was a farmer. He retired back in the 90s, so it's kind of a skip generation more than anything. I really liked working on equipment. I liked operating equipment. And then once I got into FFA and ag and stuff like that, I like growing stuff.
So my mom, she's an educator, and part of her requirement for us to come back and farm was we had to go get a college degree. I went to Kirkwood here first in Cedar Rapids and transferred to Iowa State and graduated in 2010, and I've been farming since.
I actually grew up in Nashua, which is northeast Iowa. Kind of hobby farmed, I would say. We did do some custom feeding of hogs when I was a kid. Was heavily involved in 4-H and FFA when I was in high school. That's kind of where my love for agriculture began. I
went to Northwest Missouri State, got my ag degree. As soon as I moved back, a good family friend said, "Hey, you should join the Farm Bureau Board." And I enjoyed it because I felt like we were like-minded. So before I knew, I was secretary and then vice president, and now I've been president. It's been fun, and you get to meet people and you go on some of the incentive trips. I really look forward to it.
I've been involved with Farm Bureau for 15 years. I'm currently the voting delegate for Linn County. I've been county president, vice president. My goal has always been to serve the membership and the industry, and I was passionate about it and found purpose in that.
My husband and I were Farm Bureau members. Well, he was more a Farm Bureau member than I was, I'll put it that way. He just always kind of said, we really should get more involved. I feel like I need to get more involved in doing these kinds of things. After he had passed away, that was one of those things that I had decided. I was like, what are the things that I'm involved in this, but am I actually really involved? It's been a really good time investment for me.
I don't know, we go down to the Capitol and talk to our representatives and stuff, and I want things to be better for my boys. I don't want them to be, boy, I wish Dad would have done something, We do can drives. We feed everybody at the fair during livestock shows. We've been going to the schools too, and we do ag trivia, and that's been really rewarding. I feel like it's kind of our duty though. I think if you have the ability to try and help people, you need to help them.
We get together and have a membership appreciation event for our members in Linn County, and we had about 400 people there. I still want to be involved. I still want to, answer calls of local media that are wanting to do stories. I want to serve in things that maybe people on the board aren't able to serve in, trips to the Capitol, that type of thing that I want to be involved and invested.
The Franklin County Fair is a really big event for us. We have a Farm Bureau Day. So we do like a burger feed, we do games, and then we're also kicking off the grilling contest at the Franklin County Fair this year. Other things that we do throughout the year, I guess, we host a local breakfast battle where we donate a lot of our proceeds to a local food bank. A lot of my time I do spend volunteering, trying to give back to my community. So I'm part of the Sheffield Community Club. I also volunteer a lot of my time at church, just like showing, and I think like one of the biggest things, and I say this as a teacher as well, is modeling what you want people to do sometimes.
A lot of farmers get wrapped up into we're competition against each other, and I think we really need to take a step back and work together, because I think we can work together and do better together. I did a field day last summer. There's a hunger out there, and almost all of them had done cover crops before. I was surprised. I thought there'd be some newbies out there. And my goal is you'll get a sandwich, and you'll be able to take 3 or 4 things home with you that tomorrow you can start on your farm.
At Farm Bureau, we focused a lot over the years, and rightly so, on mental health, but I'd like to see some effort maybe toward physical health. My latest quest is to find a way that farmers can find a way to be healthy, live healthy, to keep farming longer and preserve our industry. So one thing I do to stay in shape is I run and I check some crops. There's a lot I can't see when I drive by at a high rate of speed, but if I'm running by the crops, it gives me a chance to see what's going on, maybe walk into a field driveway and pull a few plants.
I had an awesome ag teacher when I was in high school, and I think I decided honestly after my first national convention as a freshman in high school, I was like, what other job do you get to kind of do that wraps all of the different parts of agriculture into it? The more that I learned about the different facets of ag that I wasn't involved in, I was like, a lot of this is interesting. My day will never be the same twice. Like, perfect fit. Currently, I do teach an ag leadership course. And so when I was kind of sitting down and thinking about what are the big things that make a leader, policy and advocacy are probably the two big things, because everyone has some sort of a story to tell or an issue that resonates with them maybe a little bit more. What I try to do is I try to get them to at least do a little bit of research on what are the things that are happening in our Iowa legislature, what are the things that they could see directly affecting them, whether they are urban or rural. So I chose to give my grant money to the Kyle Porter Foundation. Kyle was my late husband. Agriculture was his entire life. He loved to help the youth. He was an FFA, was really big in PAS through college. He was a state PAS president back in the day. Our goal through our foundation is to give scholarships and help fund different projects that Kyle would have been passionate about, and then to also just kind of keep carrying on his legacy.
So I chose the hometown memorial ride. One of my good friends, Nick Hildreth, he died in kind of a freak electrical issue. And then we had the officer Jamie Bunning and Justin Martin. Jamie Bunning was here and got killed in the line of duty with the police in Rockwell City. And Justin Martin was a friend of mine in high school, and his dad was my principal, and he's from Rockwell City. So we did this in memory of all three of them. We raised money for scholarships and stuff like that. So the money will go through that group and then help the fire department with funding for hopefully rural stuff. That was my goal, to help.
I chose the organization called Toothbrushers and Balaam's Donkey, and what they do is they focused on dental care among care facilities, especially for those with cognitive deficiencies. And I had a livestock injury in 2021 that cost me 3 of my teeth, and so I just realized how important dentistry is to overall health. I just want to be a part of that.
Animal care is something that's really important. I personally think it makes a large difference just in quality of product, right down to the meat quality. The more I've talked to people, they really just want to know where their food comes from. Being able to put a face with a name and knowing exactly where your product is. And I love to pull up pictures of, of the pasture and the cows, and everyone gets scratches and treats kind of on a daily basis. That's kind of my guilty pleasure.
We have to tell our story, but we can always improve on our story too. For me, it's more than a job. It's a God-given gift and a talent to do this, because it's an important thing. I mean, it's pretty cool to put in all the work, and you literally get that expensive bag of seed you complain about, and you put it in the ground, and then come fall, you got something. It's just kind of special. It's about a quality of life, and if you don't live it, you don't quite appreciate it.
I feel like the work we do at Farm Bureau matters. It matters for the people, for the members. And I think it's important to share what's going on, why it's going on, and be invested in the community. I want to teach my kids to value the land, take care of it and be responsible with it. I want them to give their kids opportunities, and grandkids and future generations to value the land and build communities, especially rural communities that are thriving.